Good morning, everybody. It's my pleasure to be able to present the L12 today to you. We have a new model called the L12 Type 10. This is the second iteration of this model. So, internally or sometimes from some of our people, you'll hear it called the L2-12 Type 10. And so this is the second revision of this model. And also, thank you for taking the time to join us today. We've put together all different events from trainings of support staff and applications. We have some service training coming in the future, and off and on we have these machine presentations for a sales effort. And thank you for taking the time to join us. So as we look into this specific model, the L12 Type 10, what are some of the new things that we'll be seeing today and that's on this model? Well, first of all, it's a more all modular tooling design, very similar to our L20 series. And you'll see that in a lot of examples as we go. The next major change and improvement in the model is the addition of a Y2 axis. For those of you who know our products, but this is actually mounted on the subspindle side of the spindle. So the spindle itself actually moves up and down in the Y-axis. And this gives us the ability for small diameter parts. A lot of customers use our L12 series for, could be 30, 40 thousandths diameter parts, 20 thousandths diameter parts. And we want the subspindle not just good, but perfect, maybe 1/10 centered. And since we have a Y-axis, that's easy to do. Also, the big advantage of the Y2 axis is our back tooling stations get to be doubled. So instead of 4 tools, we have 8 tools in the back, and we're going to show you many variances of that. On this model, there's also a newer design subspindle. It's a core motor, no belt, and this goes 12,000 RPM, a little increase from the previous. And a huge design concept is the main casting, the machine-based casting is actually much improved, not only to hold the Y2 axis, but just overall rigidity. It's increased as much as 60%. And we're going to show you some of this. For those of you that have started seeing some of our newer products, we're trying always to make it more user-friendly. And the nice door opening up gives you much more room as an operator, and we really like this. So as we look at this more today, we're going to go look inside the machine. And just for the quick review here you can see a lot of our modular tooling we'll be covering in a minute. Here's our double stations of back working tools. There's 2 rows. There's a static row and a live row. And then here's our subspindle, and the Y-axis is actually here. We're going to see this in a second here. And so the added Y2 axis is right here. Again, this gives us the ability for a perfect center when we come in and get the part from the main spindle. But it also gives us the ability to come over and work on these tool blocks, up and down and all around, and many tool options available. If we look at regular spindle speeds, 15,000 RPM on the main, 12,000 RPM on the subspindle. We have 10,000 RPM on our gang tool live tooling here for the main side, and we have 9,000 RPM on our back working block. Now we also have speeders that can plug in that are 4-time speeders. Some of those speeders have a maximum of about 30,000 RPM. But then we can use our electric air spindles, and we can get up to 80,000 RPM. So many options for you. Excuse me. And just a quick review of the rigidity increase, 60% thicker casting everywhere around. And in utilizing that, if you know linear guide rails here all throughout the machine, this machine incorporates the roller style. And so this picture represents it well. Instead of a set of balls reciprocating through And if it was a set of balls, you have one point of contact on the weigh surface on the top and the bottom, times 4. But with a roller design, you have like a 5 millimeter point of contact times 4. Much more rigid with the roller. This specific machine has roller weighs throughout all axis. Just good to know. If we look at some of the differences, and one of the main differences is the modular tooling design. So this comes from our very popular L20 series. And in the first iteration of the L12, we kept it simpler, where you didn't have lots of tooling options. It was much simpler. Now we're full blown into, like the L20, that we have many, many options available here. And so if we just take a quick look, we now have 1/2-inch tooling available. This picture shows 7. We offer 6 turning tools that are 1/2-inch, and this picture is actually 3/8 tools. So our standard is 1/2-inch. We have one live spindle that's built in, but it's closer to the guide bushing with a smaller collet for any special work you need on small diameter parts. And otherwise, we have modular tooling stations and a adjustable tool station. So like the L series, we have the ability to go from 0 to 90 and anywhere in between. And we have simple G-code software that lets us program parts at an angle if needed. Again, this is going to be fixed at the angle you're going to choose. The angle is not programmable. You set the tool, then you run. But we have all of this feature as standard on this new model. If we go a little bit further and we look at the toolings on the rest of the machine, next to the subspindle is 2 what we might call deep hole drilling. So 2 static stations. These are not live. And again, this is the Y2 axis. So these are, perfectly adjustable through programming. These are 3/4 round, and we have all different sleeve options available here. We call these the T20 stations, those of you that know our system. And on the back side now, a little bit of a blow up, we have 8 stations. The bottom row is static and the upper row is live. And we're going to show you the many options in a moment. So what you get standard from MCC with the purchase is actually, as Citizen has done this for some time now, we virtually have 2 styles of live spindle. So the smaller, the 16 millimeter and 12, and the larger 20 and 32. And so this modular live tool can unbolt, and we can put it in the back here. We can take any of these and put them here. And so we give you 7 live spindles. And so if you did this picture standard, you might have, these 2 are modular and these 3. So you might have 5 and 2 here. So these stations would be empty. But now if a different job comes that you need it in the back and you don't need them all in the front, you can take them from here and just put them in the back. So these are all movable, modular. And if you did get a 3-time speeder or a 4-time speeder, it can fit in all these different stations. So it's a fantastic system. We also give you 7 of those tools. Now we also give you 8 sleeve adapters. These are the bottom row here that are holding drill sleeves, and we give you 8 drill sleeves. And so if you had a different job that didn't need all the live, we give you enough to have 8 static tools here. Or you can take these same sleeves and put them here. And so you can move them all around, but we give you 8 static stations available. So the standard machine gives you much tooling. And of course, we have the ability to do more. So now what else do you desire? In this case, this is the block we just talked about. But in that example, here's an addition. We have an additional block that will give you 3 front and 3 back and a 0 to 30 degree angle. So now we have the ability to have 3 angle tools here and 3 more set at another angle. Very creative. If we opt out of that, we can put in its place a 3-position fixed straight live, 3 front, 3 back, not adjustable. But if we put that block in and then use the creative toolings, use this block set off to the side, fixed, now we have live tooling that can bolt in, and now we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 front live, 7 back live, all by just modular tool holders. If you don't need them all live, we can go here, and here's static tooling. It's in the same looking, but these are static. And so here's 9 front live with 9 back, I'm sorry, 9 front static with 9 back static. So basically, most any parts you have, we have tooling that can cover your needs. Now, as time goes on, there's always, we need one more of something, but now we look at the backside. All different modular toolings available for the backside, including cross live or even slotting. And so we can put these in different stations, anything that you need. And because of the Y2 axis, we're able to hit all these tools. Now, if all of that's not enough, sometimes customers have a need for more, maybe more. And without trying to go to the next machine that might cost a lot more money, we have a lot of customers come to us, can you make us a special? So our MCC design special tooling from Tooling and Accessories. So we actually designed a block and offered it that now Citizen sells all over the world. We had a customer needed, and we found that we could, if you know the bottom row is static and the upper row is live, we designed a tandem block. So as it's powered with the live, there's gearing inside, not belt, that when this one spins forward, this one also spins forward, and we can double the live tooling. And so this is just one idea of a special that we made, and it's now a standard. This was made for our L20, but it actually fits the L2-12. So basically, if you need any special tooling, please talk to our people. We can make it. If you'd like to see some of the other things that we've done, it's not everything, but some. If you go to our website, marisit.com, and off the top menu, hit products, hit accessories, and tooling, and you can download a catalog of all of our different specials that we've done. And so if we look at the next things of this new model, really these next features are all common things to all of our new Cincom products. And so all of our machines now offer removable guide bushing. The L12 Type 10 is the same. We can run it as a Swiss or as chucker mode. Now, I don't like to use the word chucker mode. I would say non-guide bushing, because we don't typically hand load, but the industry has taken the name chucker mode, so I put it in here. But what do you get when you run non-guide bushing? Well, you can get a shorter remnant, and you also have the ability you don't need ground bars to hold roundness. We're going to turn and machine as round as the spindle bearings are. We're on a Swiss, depending on how tight you tighten the guide bushing and all of the properties of the material in the guide bushing, you have the ability to have some error in roundness. So when you run non-ground bar in chucker mode, we have the best roundnesses available. We also have LFV available for all of our equipment now. It is an option, but we have it available. We have air purge, spindles, guide bushing, live tooling. So we put air pressure, positive air pressure into all spindle systems to keep any contaminants and possibly water soluble coolant out. We also have, I think more and more people are knowing, some don't, we have a 16 millimeter upgrade kit. So we can oversize the 12 millimeter to 16 millimeter. And a lot of you might say, well, I don't need that. Well, there is actually some need that some people really like some third-party tooling systems. One of them is a Masa chuck system, and they don't make that in the smaller series machine system. And so if we buy this 16 millimeter upgrade system, then we can hold the Masa system in our L12. So just things to know. And this same system can go on, this up system can be on the main or the sub side. We also have the ability to add a servo knockout. We have included standard pneumatic knockout as many customers had actually wanted this, but some customers really enjoy the ability of servo, and this machine has it just as an option from Citizen, programmable in the control. And then we also have some changes to the chip conveyor coolant tank. So not the chip conveyor itself, but the coolant tank that we supply with the machine. And so any of our newer models, this is, say, for example, normal. But what we do is we pre-purchase and set up for the United States the ability to have ready for a chip conveyor. Now, if some of our customers had to purchase a chip conveyor in the past, we had to take out the coolant tank, basically throw it away and bring in a new one, and you're paying for it again. And so we have the ability that the coolant tank is standard, but the actual added benefit that many of our users desire is to get more coolant capacity for thermal and for high pressure use for the oil to just get the air out of the oil before we pump it again. So for aeration issues, the more oil, the better. So this is our standard coolant tank. It's actually a 42 gallons on this little 12 millimeter, and easy roll in and out, and just a standard feature. If we just, we have whole presentations on LFV, low frequency vibration. So we ask you to ask your dealer, and they can get you some other links to some of our presentations we've already done. But in a short term, in a short explanation, our low frequency vibration is a fantastic feature for chip breaking. We introduced this in 2014 at IMTS. There's 3 different modes of use. One of them being even for threading, but basically our axis will oscillate perfect timing with the spindle to make a little air gap and break chips. If we look at deeply into things, but basically these charts are showing how we produce an air gap in a perfect timing of the spindle, like phasing, almost like a threading operation while we're turning. Unique things is some of our competitors have something that they call like this, and they have all different creative names for it. This is all patented by Citizen, and not only are we in a turning straight or grooving or facing, but when we're at an angle, we're oscillating at an angle. When we do a radius, we're oscillating on the radius. And when we're doing a thread, we're oscillating on a thread. And nobody else has this 2-axis of chip breaking technology. So angles and radiuses, tough materials. A lot of people can't believe how well it does on plastics. Plastics, cut easy, but it's always hard on breaking the chips and getting your process under control. LFV is a great solution for this. And the bottom line is it just works. And so if we take the real quick just look, LFV, no LFV, LFV, it gives us a controlled process. So I invite you to get deeper into this, work with your local dealer or your local sales staff, and they can get you more information on LFV. But today we're really here to see the L12 Type 10, and here we have a video from Citizen that as it goes, I'll explain some of the features. And so, Joe, if you could confirm with me as I'm going, if my voice is broken at all during this video, please let me know.
Will do.
So, the new L12, the new feature we've already reviewed is the Y2 axis. And we added here that all roller guideways, things to remember. 60% increase in the casting size. So here we're going right into some example, and look at that LFV breaking chips and even aluminum. It's kind of one of the harder ones to break chips when you do heavy cuts. Look at the depth of cut here. And LFV just working away, breaking chips, making a good process to keep it under control. Any machine can cut the aluminum, but when it all wraps around and all the other tools are, all the coolant is taken away from the tool, or when the subspindle comes in or other processes come in to hit all the chips. So just having full control with LFV. This example is also showing a optional feature of 3D chamfering. Here they have these toolings set at an angle, as we explained that you could do, and they're drilling and tapping at an angle. As LFV mode continues, of course, X-axis, mode 1, multiple oscillations per revolution. Look at those chips breaking in an X-axis motion. Just a wonderful technology that Citizen has provided for us. Their process, not running coolant, they're a little bit slow. The Japanese videos are typically a little slower. By all means, we can run faster. It's all whatever you need for your tooling and your materials. Another great look at LFV. You can see how stringy that would have been. Regular milling, we have direct axis, C-axis, so we don't have to stop and go home. We'll show you that a little bit more in a second on Cincom features. And as this goes, it has a little bit more on the subspindle side to show you all of these toolings. So again, 2 rows of tooling. Bottom row is static. There's 4 tools on the bottom as static, and there's 4 tools on the top. Now we also have, this is a live spindle. We have 7 come standard with the machine, but you could take this out and put in its place a 4-time speeder. So we easily to get to 30,000 RPM for some of these features. We also have air spindles and all different air electric spindles. The air just cools it, and all different speeds available up to 80,000 RPM. Rigid tapping, back C-axis, all standard. You could have 4 turning tools in the back, whatever you need. Any questions yet, Joe?
So far, so good.
Okay, thank you. So as we go and after we see a machine run and some of its capabilities, we have to take a minute and talk about Cincom control. This is unique to Citizen. We use a Mitsubishi control. Some other people do, but if it's Fanuc or Mitsubishi, we have, I'm going to say 100% software. I'm sure I'm wrong. Let's say high 90s, basically all Citizen software running on all of our machines. This gives us the ability to do whatever we want. Many years ago, we introduced our first control was actually a Yasnak L16. I mean, I'm talking in the 80s. I'm aging myself, but it was so revolutionary that it was different. What we found is if we stick with the one big control builder and they come up with a new option, all the competitors, have this option, and there's not really any difference, no separation. And so with us making our own software, we have 100% Citizen technology and one of those added features of LFV and others. And so on this specific control of the L12, we actually have USB standard, SD card standard, Ethernet file I/O, RS-232, all standard. We're actually able to, if huge programs, we can run off of the SD card, and easy to do. And so if we take a minute and look a little bit more into what is Cincom control features, the ability of having a machining data, and we'll show you some pictures, but machining data is information about the part so that when the machine runs, it knows things. For example, as simple as the stock size. And if we set tooling and gang plate in a perfect world, all the tools are set evenly, but often some tools are sticking down lower than others. Well, on Cincom, it knows all of this, and it's able to actually go up higher for that tool and around. It knows where the bar stock is. I showed you some pictures of drill blocks hanging down. It's actually smart enough to know that that tool holder's in the machine, and it'll go up over it automatically. And all the operator's doing is saying T. So T1100, T300. So the adaption of machining data is a key feature of Cincom, and please work with your salespeople to understand it better if you need. User-friendly graphics. These machines, Citizen's known for user-friendly, and all of the screens are, it's not graphics like the machines running in graphics, but just easy choices when operators have to move the machine or edit programs. On-machine program check, key feature from way back when, even in the 80s, in the 90s, and we're going to show you this in detail with high-speed check and by hand wheel running. We have auto program error detection. It's kind of like a CNC spell check. We're going to show you some of this. And we're very famous, known for our superimposition and our G600 codes. This is all common features of Cincom control. If we look into it just a touch more, so the first is user-friendly. This is a picture of machining data. And as you enter the values, it's actually showing you what you're entering as you go. Very simple. As somebody's out on the machine, and if there are either, most people don't program at the machine, but if you're editing and you're adding something and you say, you know, I know what the M code is, or I know what the G code is, but I just don't remember how you use it. What are the little options to it? Well, we can actually, right at the machine, search the M code, and it will show what options it has, or the G code, or the special, and however you're going to utilize that code is shown for you. You can actually then paste it into your program with all the basic, and you just have to fill in the blanks. And so very good on-screen M&G code help file system.
Hey, Ryan, we have a question here.
Okay, go ahead.
It is, our customers love their 1M7. Will it become 2M7? Will the gang on the Type 7 be configured the same as the current Type 7 or new Type 10?
Okay, so I'll explain it very clearly. The L12 Type 7 is so popular and good and what it needs, and a lot of people didn't want all the other bells and whistles, that it's not planning on changing and it's not planning on going away. It is the current model, L12 Type 7. It will continue to be sold and supported. This new model is an L2-12 Type 10, and so there will not be a L2 Type 7. It will be the current Type 7 and the Type 10. So that should just answer the question. Okay, Joe?
Thank you.
Okay. And so this next feature, auto CNC code syntax checking. This is what I call spell checker. As somebody just happens to be typing codes in the machine and they do I call it a fat finger, or they have, a lot of people tell me they have dyslexia and they put codes in backwards, it'll instantly turn red for the person entering the code. It's an instant CNC spell checker, and it warns you. Just a fantastic standard feature of Cincom control. And the next one is, if you disregard all of our other features and you just throw a program in and start running, and maybe you have little tools and they're doing lots of tool path, maybe you're 3 minutes into the program and you get some alarm, some error of code, or maybe the air is off, so the knockout won't work, whatever the alarm is. And unfortunately, not all operators are documenting everything, and maybe it's near a shift change. And so what does the operator do? He hits reset, and he goes to change shifts, and he's gone, and he just tells somebody, hey, I had a problem with the machine, you might want to check it. Well, when the next person comes, the screen will actually, if you go to edit mode, the screen will actually show you the location of the last errors with what the error was on both systems. And so very powerful alarm retention and save in all systems. So it helps to whoever's coming in to support this machine after to know what happened and where it happened without having to run the 3 or 6 minutes just to find the error again. And so a great feature for Cincom Control. And these are just some of the many that I'm highlighting. So next is, a lot of people don't understand, but when we just call up a tool or change modes, Citizen deep inside the system, and this is probably showing it too much, but instead of rapiding back here, stopping, rapiding over here, stopping, and rapiding in to get the next tool change, this will actually come, and you won't see it. It's away from any kind of cutting, but it'll round the corners. So what does that do? It actually makes a much smoother, less vibrating machine, and it actually helps it to get there faster. Now, it might only save 0.2 seconds, 0.3 seconds, but if every tool change and every motion is saving 0.1 and 0.3, and we can save 1 second and 2 seconds at the end of the program, we're saving time. The next major thing that Citizen's done for a long time is we have part of Cincom Control is direct spindle C-axis. So we can be at 10,000 RPM. We don't have to stop the spindle and then engage the C-axis and then tell the C-axis to go to 0 and then go to 45 degrees. If we were previously running at 10,000 RPM, our code would say G0 C45. Great simple thing. This might save 0.4 seconds each time it's used, but 0.4, you're going to keep running every day, every job you ever run, you're saving a lot of time. Some of our customers actually do run millions of parts, and this could be a week's production. The next feature that a lot of people don't understand is very similar to the motion of tool change is threading. So for threading, we have a controlled move that has to be perfect. But after the thread's done, there's a rapid, and a rapid before you thread again. And this makes machines shake and vibrate when they rapid so quickly and stop in short distances. And what we're going to do is, again, kind of round the corners, that we're going to have that perfect thread, but then we're going to kind of round the corner to get the thread back. We call this also shock absorber control. It makes for very smooth thread, and it saves cycle time. Again, if we save 0.1 or 0.2 seconds per threading pass, it's seconds to the user, it's money in the owner's pocket. All of these things saving cycle time. Cincom Control. The next, probably most prominent feature of Cincom Control from all the way back in the 90s is on-machine program check. This is something that nobody else has. Yes, they can process. There's a FANUC option of hand wheel. It's not the same. And so we're going to show you some of the features here, and there's many more. But high-speed check function is just, it goes through the entire program looking for syntax errors, over travels. We're going to show you in a second. But basically, in some of these, this machine is in the middle. We have more complex machines, 3 tools running at one time. But if you do your first program of a complex job, it can be pretty nerve-wracking for an operator to run. So we have the ability that you run this machine 100% at your safe speed, each person individual, and you can make it comfortable for you. We can actually stop, reverse, make sure it looks like what we want, and go forward again. As we're going, if we have an error or we see something we don't like, we can actually live edit right within on-machine program check. A fantastic feature of Cincom Control. Let's take a look. Here, the first is high-speed check. Any program we make, we can just push a button and run it. It'll give us a starting cycle time, but it does syntax checking, code errors, if there's any kind of axis over travels, timings. Basically, the whole program is reviewed. Once we pass that check, doesn't mean it's a good program. You could still have bad code that can crash. So now we have the ability to run the machine at our speed, at our desired. And so this is an L12 type 10 that we put a superimposition feature in. And so we're actually going to center drill and drill as we're turning. And so the ability for that tool to come in is scary. So look how you can control. So when you need, you just slow down. Okay, you can bring it in under your control. And our timing is not perfect on the hand wheel. That's our video, but you can see the idea. And there we have, look at, we can process to the next tool at my speed, at my comfortable speed, and continue on. And now we get somewhere and say, you know what, I'm not sure about what's coming next, or I got to check that drill, whatever you want to do. We can actually run the machine backwards all the way to the previous tool call and then go forward again. And again, live edits anywhere desired, you know, in the program in the middle. So Cincom Control on machine program check. I actually find, I hope we have a lot of customers watching currently. And when we talk to customers, some of the, unfortunately, some operators and some programmers get thrown into their systems, maybe come from other equipment. I would encourage everybody to read the manuals. Not everybody does, but there's lots of people that don't know their machine have this capability. So we have this all the way back into the 90s. So please, if you have other Cincom machines, look it up. You'll really enjoy this feature. Before I continue on here, Joe, any questions?
So far, so good, Brian.
Okay, thank you. And as we got past our machine concept, and then we go through Cincom Control, we have all different things to review and all different bar feed possibilities. Well, we offer the CAV12, and this CAV12, we had more and more customers desire small diameter, running a magazine loader at 1/16th, or even 40 thousandths, 1 millimeter. And anytime you run the smaller bars, typically if you can get them in there, you can be okay and you can get around it. But the way to get the bar from the magazine into the channel is always the issue with small bar. So we've adopted a screw type system that will allow us to perfectly move the bars down the screws. So this picture is not showing them all, but you would have, you know, up to 24 different bars here ready. And every time that needs a bar, this rotates one revolution and one bar drops in the channel. And so we have a couple different channel sizes, but when we're going to run smaller stock up to 50 thousandths, 40 to 55, so under 1.5 millimeters, we go to 6-foot bars. But anything larger, 1.5 millimeter and larger, we go full 12-foot bars. Standard with the machine that when we sell it is a 13 millimeter or 1/2 inch, and 7 millimeter is basically a little bit bigger than 1/4 inch. And the screw size holds 12 bars. But there is other options available for more sizes. And with those, the 4 millimeter screw holds 24 bars and the 16 millimeter screw holds 9 bars, but all whatever you need. Quick change channels, we pop them in and out. And our bar feed systems are made by us, for us. So the ability to run guide bushing and non-guide bushing, we don't have to slide the bar feed back and forth in and out. It just stays where it is and the bar feed's able to reach. And so if you have any more questions or want more information, please ask your sales team more about the CAV-12. Wonderful addition to our CAV line. And to review, all of these things put together, MCC is proud to offer our single source offerings, not only the Citizen-Cincom and the Citizen-Miano products, but our high pressure coolant systems are from us. Here's high pressure system, and here's our mist collection system. Tooling and accessories, we showed you many, but we have toolings that are made actually by MCC and sold all over the world. And so additional non-standard toolings can be available. Our automation and loading and unloading whole department, Mike Watanabe and his team have the ability to make all different things. We have customers with L12s that have servo parts ejection and tray systems that does all their SPC on little teeny parts and just moves them around in trays to get them to the operator, get them into cleaning, and getting them into the customer's hands, all controlled. So many automation possibilities and or whatever you need. You have a specific request, we can look at it, we can quote it. This is what we do. We actually now have incorporated laser cutting into the L series, not into the L20 Type 10 yet. It can happen in the future. We currently have it in the L12 Type 7 and the L20 series, the L32 series, but laser cutting and laser welding, wonderful features for our machines, all single source offerings, our magazine bar loaders. The most important is the local support, our dealer network system. A lot of our dealers have been with us for 20, 25, 30 years. And so you have the wealth of knowledge locally at your facility. And with all of this, because we offer all of it, any issues, you have one phone call, one source. And the vast dealer network, again, many local support dealers. Dealers come to our trainings. We have actually different web events just for dealers. So all of our dealers are long-term in the field supporting our products. If you don't know your dealer, please hit our website, www.marasit.com, and you can easily see the dealer that's in your, the representative that's in your area. And so that's what I have for you today for the L212 Type 10, our new L12 series. I want to thank you for attending, and I ask you that experience the difference. Come join us. And so with that, we'll pause a little bit here and see if there's any questions.
So far, there's no questions, but we'll give it another minute.
I have to say, I think I hit my time perfectly. I'm 10:45. We kind of wanted 45 minutes, so that was good.
Yep, no questions.
We can also take a minute to update. What we're trying to do is just offer whatever we can. Everybody's starting to get busy, thank goodness, and we want you to be busy. But some of you still have time or have the desire to learn more. Next week, we kind of locked in our seminars to Tuesdays and Thursdays. Next week, we will have a continuation of B-axis use, class number 2 on the use of B-axis. We also will have, like this, a sales review of our Miano product, the BNA 42 GTY. Correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, is that correct?
That is correct.
And just so we can, do you happen to have the next week's offerings in front of you?
Yes, it is guide bushing repair and guide bushing and non-guide bushing.
The use of guide bushing and non-guide bushing. Perfect. And so please take the time to look at our events. You can, if you're just coming to this one from one invite, please ask your local distributor of how you can join and what other events we have. We're scheduled basically all the way through July at this time. And then all of these are taped and available to the dealers. So ask your dealer what was already and see if anything benefits you. So I'd like to take this moment to thank you for joining us today, and thank you for being a Citizen-Cincom Miano customer. Thank you.
Brian, we do have one question here.
Okay.
Will there be a sales manual type document for this machine like there is for the L series?
Apparently that's from a dealer. I would have to say it went out 6 months ago. So yes, there is, and the dealers all have them. If they don't, please contact your local support manager.